Pack off of the porch or break a pound down. Get the scrap if it happen to blow. It makes surround sounds. Pussycat on my lap, push it back and go to town down.
I have a right to worship Satan. How does that statement make you feel? Well, thanks to the Satanic Temple and events transpiring in the Iowa state capitol this week, we now know how it makes a lot of Christian nationalists feel, and that would be triggered as fuck. The Satanic Temple erected a display of Baphomet in the Iowa state capitol, and this isn't the first time that they've done something like this. They do not seek to be represented in all public government areas, but only in those where Christianity is singularly represented, and their goal is to ensure that the local government is upholding the Constitution. This was meant to be a temporary display, holiday display that would be up for 14 days, and instead of using this as an opportunity, as Paul did in Acts 17:23 through 31, to extend a message of hope and love, Christian nationalists decided to piss, shit, fart, and cum all over Twitter and call for the statue to be torn down. Last week, somebody did just that. Michael Cassidy, a former U.S. Navy pilot, a professing Christian, and a self-professed America First conservative, took it upon himself to decapitate the display and push it over. Cassidy stated on Twitter, "My deepest hope is that Americans of all political persuasions can unite and agree that 1. Jesus Christ is Lord, and 2. Satan is evil." Now, I don't doubt that Cassidy is a Christian. I'm sure that he did this solely out of principle and not as a virtue signal to gain attention, publicity, and support to ramp up for another attempt at running for Congress. Also, I'm sure that the $40,000 that he has raised so far to go towards his $2,500 fine doesn't hurt either. Yes, Cassidy is a failed congressional candidate, and ironically, during his campaign, he supported a mandatory minimum 10-year jail sentence for the destruction of statues, infrastructure, or houses of worship. You can't make this up. So it's this exact hypocrisy, intolerance, and religious nationalism that the Satanic Temple seeks to expose and fight against. It's important to note that the Satanic Temple is non-theistic and does not believe in Satan or God. They are atheists and secular humanists who see organized religion's value in creating community, cultivating well-being, and activating positive change in the society. They also know the value of adopting the iconography of Satan as a symbol of individualism, rebellion, balance, and pluralism. Also, I mean, just look at this. This is sick as f***. They also use this iconography to parody and trigger Christians. But it's important to know that it's not just a troll for them. Their beliefs are deeply held and their religion is important to them. They have been legally recognized as a religion for over 50 years now. I personally resonate with a lot of Satanist teachings. I am not one myself. I find them to be antagonistic in a way that I support, but I'm also not interested in personally, and I'm also not interested in being involved in organized religion in any form at this point in my life. Despite how desperately many Christians want you to believe it, America is not and never has been a Christian nation. This can be your headcanon if you really want it to be, but it has no grounding in reality. America was founded explicitly and intentionally as a secular nation, and this is part of what has made America great. Being a secular nation means that you are free to worship however you want to worship, so long as you aren't hurting others or infringing on their rights. And when it comes to government, your religion can influence your politics, but if you want to make something into law, it needs to be grounded in reason, logic, facts, and science. Not in my God says so or my religious text says so. You need to be able to argue your law in a way that makes sense to a diverse group of people, and then a diverse group of people can evaluate it through reason and decide if it should in fact be a law. It also means that the government cannot show preference for one religion over another. So if Christians are allowed to put up a display in the state capitol, then by our Constitution, all religions must be allowed to put up a display, even if some find it objectionable. And this is where many Christians have a hang-up. especially when it comes to Satanism. At the end of the day, though, it doesn't matter what your personal mythology around Satan is. It doesn't matter what your superstition around Satan is. It doesn't matter how much it offends you. It doesn't matter how evil you find it. You have to tolerate it legally. You can whine about it all you want. You can use it as an opportunity to try and convince others of your religion. You can do whatever you want, as long as it's through legal means and you aren't infringing on the rights of others. And this is a good thing, because the fact of the matter is there are people who genuinely believe that Christianity is objectionable and offensive and evil. But I don't think that those people should be able to infringe on Christians' rights either. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I feel like I've heard that somewhere. America is great because it is not at the mercy of any one single religion, and it must remain that way if it will continue to be great. If you believe America would be greater if more people followed your religion, then share the good news and do your best to convince others that your way is the best way. Do not seek to impose your beliefs on others through the hand of the government. It will destroy this nation, and it will destroy the Christian faith. Now, it used to be that Christian nationalists were much more quiet when confronted, and would gaslight us by saying, "Oh, we're just Christians who love our country. What could possibly be wrong with that?" Now, for whatever reason, they have felt emboldened to go full mask off and openly call for theonomy and the oppression of minority religions, and really any religion that isn't Christianity. They used to hide behind and praise religious liberty, freedom of speech, and the Constitution when it suited them, but it's clear that given the power, they would absolutely disregard every bit of that. They are fascists who do not love this country, nor do they love Jesus. Their form of government would be detrimental to the American people and to the kingdom of heaven. Now, there is some hope in the fact that Christian nationalism is a tiny minority in America. Representative John Dunwell, a Republican lawmaker and Christian pastor from Iowa, made an excellent statement that I really appreciated. And while he found the statute objectionable, he stated, quote, "I don't want the state evaluating and making determinations about religion. I am guided by the First Amendment and the Constitution. My faith is never imposed upon others, nor should it ever become a direct part of government. It is always a response to the person and work of Jesus Christ. I don't want to mix the kingdoms. Government is a poor arbitrator of religion." Representative Dunwell received immense backlash for this statement, caused to resign as a representative and as a pastor. And I personally left an encouraging response to his tweet, thanking him for his position as an atheist. And I think it was an excellent response as from a Christian. Now, just because Christian fascists are a small minority does not mean that they are not dangerous. They are also not a new phenomenon. They have been around for decades. There was probably no group in America more motivated to gain political power. And they understand how to play the long game, influence powerful people, and make their agenda palatable for a wider audience. Roe v. Wade being overturned was not a fluke. It was a culmination of hard work from Christians behind the scenes who have worked nonstop since Roe v. Wade to get this outcome. And they are not finished. I do not think that we will ever be at risk at becoming a full-blown theonomy, but Christian nationalists are a clear and present threat to democracy and to a liberal, pluralistic society. I don't oppose Christian nationalism primarily because I disagree with Christian nationalism. I oppose it for the same reason I oppose Sharia law, for the same reason I oppose communism or socialism. I believe in personal freedom and liberty. I believe in religious freedom. I believe in freedom from religion. I believe that restrictive forms of government as these would weaken our nation and lead to immense oppression of all kinds of people. It is essential to be engaged in politics. It is essential to vote. And this is not an attempt to scare you into voting blue no matter who. But if you disengage from politics because Biden isn't the second coming of Karl Marx, then you are a baby. Every generation has had to fight for rights, better conditions, positive change. And we are incredibly privileged if we believe that we are any different. There is so much that we can do to pressure our government towards more progressive policies, but it will not do a damn thing if the people in office aren't at least slightly interested in those policies and in hearing our voices. And it's certainly not going to do anything if the people in office directly oppose those things and want to oppress us. So worship how you want to worship. Vote how you want to vote. But please, for the love of God, if you're going to vote conservative, vote for people like Representative Dunwell, who understand what this country is about, what makes us strong, and aren't afraid to defend the Constitution even when it's hard. What do you think about this whole fiasco? Please like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe. Very much helps. And hail Satan.
So try again, this time take a vitamin. Yeah, and vitamin. Welcome to the lion's den. And I'm Mufasa, big boss in charge of coming in like a bull.